Hi, fiber seekers, and welcome to a small chapter of learning and what we call enablement. Today, I want to talk about multidirectional forces. What do I mean by this? While quite obviously, in a lot of cases in regular life of parts, let me call it like this, the forces acting to a part are in multiple directions, not only in one. And as we know or have learned already, the continuous fiber works best in fiber direction. So this little enablement should help you to make the better decisions for better parts in those scenarios. And I do have a perfect example for this. This is my home. I open my umbrella and look at this. Right away, this part broke. Believe it or not, you will never get a spare part for this type of umbrella. I mean, I even reached out to the manufacturer and no, we simply don't provide this. So for a simple part like this, you may end up in buying a total new umbrella for 200 bucks, which honestly doesn't make sense. So what did I do? First of all, I redesigned the part. So I used SolidWorks and regular measurement and simply designed the part. But what I also did is I examined the forces acting on this part by the umbrella. And on the circumference of this kind of circular surface, you have forces acting to the outside from the metal rod going through it. But on the other hand, you have this little, what I call a tongue or a little rectangular piece, and the forces acting to this piece are kind of going perpendicular to this little edge you see in front of the picture. So this actually raises the question, what could we do? What would be a perfect print orientation for this part to properly act towards both forces? And quite obviously, there is no print orientation which would be capable of doing the right thing for this specific scenario. So what I ended up with is splitting the parts. So I introduced a little sketch and did a cut to this part and ended up having two parts. One, this small rectangular parts with the guidance you see, and on the other side, on the opposite side, quite obviously, the circumference part with the opposite opening. Quite obviously, I enlarged the opening by about 0.2 millimeters to make sure the dovetail goes straight into it and we don't have a hard time assembling it. So, but before I get started in continuous fiber printing, I did a form, fit and function test, which is just a simple PLA print, just to look, does it work? Is it easy to assemble? I also brought it back to my home and tried it out at the umbrella to see if it works. Okay, everything was fine. I did a few tweaks on it to make it perfect for the given application. And then I returned back to the office and started slicing it. And since we can slice different parts in different orientations, it's easy. What I also used here is what we call masks inside our rocket slicer. With a mask, you can define the very specific area where you want to have fibers. So in a sense, my part don't need reinforcement all over the whole height of it, but in particular in the inner section and the dovetail we introduced to the sides of it. So, and we ended up in having this, what I would call, well, that's quite a good reinforcement in a certain area of the part, which also reduces print time and reduces fiber usage, simply by using these masks. And I even did go a step further with the second part, where I introduced multiple masks throughout the height of the part, because I don't want it to waste fiber. And usually for a part like this, it's enough to have it on 4 or 5 sections for about 2 millimeters or 3 millimeters or so, and which will give enough strength, and again reduces print time and reduces fiber usage throughout the whole part. Well, and the last step is printing it. And here is actually the final part already assembled. So actually these are two parts, and you could slightly see by looking at the parts how the reinforcement is different in terms of direction in these two parts. I assembled them together, and quite obviously I tried them out in the given application scenario, and everything so far works out pretty fine, and I saved a heck of money by not investing into a new umbrella. That's it for today. And if you like it, or if you want to, let's say, learn a little bit more, hey, it's quiz time. Grab your phone, scan the code, and compete like a pro with just 4 questions. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.